my name is Janice, and today we're in the Northeast Teaching Kitchen. And in honor of Black History 2021, I present to you a taste of history. So, let's get started. Okay, so we stack. Today we are preparing hot water cornbread and collards. And one of the reasons why we're preparing the collard greens is because back in slavery times, collards was one of the few vegetables that African Americans were allowed to grow. So collards became a staple in the Black household. So today I present to you collards. So let's get started. We have our collards. We have 2 bunches here. Normally when I make them at home, I usually use about 3 or 4 bunches because my family's pretty greedy. We have our smoked meat. Today we're using smoked turkey, but it's your preference. You can use ham hocks, you can use smoked neck bones, and you can find those in any of the grocery stores. We have some fresh garlic. We have some crushed red pepper, but if you don't like spicy, leave out the crushed red pepper. And if you don't like garlic, leave out the fresh red pepper. We have chicken base. Now, I had a different chicken base that I bought just for my collards today, but I tasted it and it was a little bit too salty. So this is the one that I prefer, and this is my own personal one I brought from home. And you can buy this one at any of the stores also. So we have a little bit of diced onions, and we have sea salt. Now, you don't need a lot of sea salt if you're using the chicken base. I just usually put a little bit on the top just to make the chicken base pop. Okay, so the first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna cook our turkey, our smoked meat, because that takes a while to cook. What I like to do is I like to boil my meat, and I like to pour off the first 2 waters because you would be amazed how dirty this meat is. So, and then after the first 2 wash, we put it on the stove and we're gonna let it cook for about an hour and a half. And then when it's done, we'll add our greens. So while our meat is cooking, let's get started on our greens. Some people like to take the greens off the stem, and some people don't. Me, myself, personally, I like the stems. When we were kids, my mama did not remove the stems because we ate everything, every part of the greens we ate, and we appreciated it. So it's your preference. If you don't like stems, by all means, take them out. But if you do, and you know what? All the nutrients are really in the stems. So I think that you should just leave the stems in. But like I say, it's your preference. Okay, so this is the way I cut mine. I kind of stack them. I stack them like this, and then I roll them. Now, some people like their cut big, some of them like them small. Me, myself, I like mine pretty small. But when we were kids, my mom had ribbons, and I mean hair ribbons, they were so big. You would like, Mom. But over the years, I have perfected it, and I try to do what I like to do with greens. And my mom appreciated it. My mom's 95 years old, and she's amazed at things that I do with greens now. So anyway, so we're gonna keep chopping our greens. Our meat's cooking, and when we're done, we're gonna put it all together, and we'll be right back. Our greens has been cut up, and they have been washed, and our meat is cooked. So let's put it all together. So we're gonna add our washed collards to our smoked meat. And one little thing about cooking collards in the winter. In the wintertime, once the frost fall on the collards, they only take about 10-15 minutes to cook. If you let them cook 30 minutes, you're gonna have a pot of mush. In the summertime, it takes about an hour, 2 hours to cook greens, but not in the winter. So be careful when you're cooking them. Always have all your ingredients ready, your meats cooked before you even think about putting the collards in there. Okay, so we're gonna add our ingredients. We have some red pepper. So just a little bit of red pepper. I know if you have kids, don't add the red pepper. So we have our garlic cloves. We add that. We have our chicken base. So what I like to do is I like to put about 2 tablespoons of chicken base in here. That way, if you need more, you can add it. This is not that salty. It just have a nice flavor. And like I say, it takes the place of fat. We have a little bit of diced onions. Now some people like to cut up onions, fresh onions, and put in their greens. I just don't. You know, I kind of like my greens kind of plain. Just, you know, just like nature intended them to be. So I just add a little bit of diced onions. And so we're gonna save the salt for later because we might not add any extra salt. Like I say, the chicken base just give it a nice flavor. And so we'll just let that cook. And while this is cooking, we'll get started on our hot water cornbread. So now that our collards are cooking, we're getting ready to start on our hot water cornbread. So I have 2 cups of cornmeal, and I use the cornmeal mix. Just don't ever use the regular cornmeal that you fry fish in. It just doesn't hold up. So I use the mix, and this is my hot water. And the only thing you have to do is mix the water with the cornmeal until it gets to be like a pancake consistency. Just use your best judgment in the water. I know that back in slavery time, the slaves did not have milk or anything to make cornbread with, so they started with just water. And so they just started, and that's why they call it hot water cornbread. And it's now, and it's always have been, a staple in African Americans' kitchen for years. My mom used to cook it for us, and now I cook it for my mom. She loves it. I just seen her Monday. I was down there, and she was like, "Did you bring me some of that cornbread?" I'm like, "I did." Okay, so I put a little bit too much water in there, but no problem. If you put a little bit too much water, you could just go ahead on and add a little bit more cornmeal and just get it, because you don't want it to be really soupy. You want it to have a consistency so it will fry. Okay, so that is about perfect. I've already added my oil to the pan. So I added about 1/3 of a cup of oil to the pan. So we're gonna let that get hot. Now you don't wanna add your cornmeal mix until the pan is really hot. You don't wanna burn the oil, but you do want your pan to be really hot. Okay, so let's just check our greens to see where they're at. And okay, so they look really, really good, and they smell really good. I wish we had smell-o-vision. Okay, so like I said, it's winter, and the greens don't take that long to cook. So we're gonna just taste these really quick. Those are really good. I say they need about 5 minutes, 5 more minutes, and they will be done. So we're gonna just let that, and that's about that. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna turn these on low and just let them continue just to simmer while we start on our cornbread. So I've mixed up our cornbread, and this is the consistency of how you want it. You know, you want it to be like a pancake because you're gonna fry it like a pancake. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to use, turn this down. I like to use an ice cream scooper when I do my cornbread, because it keeps them at the same consistency and they cook all at the same time. So my oil is really hot, And make sure that your oil is really hot. And to check the temperature of the oil, just sprinkle a little bit of flour in there or a little bit of cornmeal, and just let them cook. Now make sure that you let them cook long enough so you'll be able to turn them and the edges are really crispy. So we checked on our collards and they are perfect. Like I said, it's winter. They don't take that long to cook. So I think we'll just turn them off. So onto our cornbread. Okay, so we're gonna flip our cornbread. I just didn't want it to hit the bottom of the side of the pan. So if you need 2 scoops, you can. Okay, so yeah, just watch the oil. I mean, you need a good bit of oil to get the perfect fry on it. So, but these take, I say about 2 minutes on each side. But I like my edges really crispy and crunchy. Our cornbread is ready to come out. They're ready. They're nice and crispy. The edges are nice and just, look at those. Perfect. Okay, so we'll keep making our cornbread. And as soon as we're finished all of our cornbread, we'll put it all together. And we'll plate it up. Okay, so everything's done. The collards are cooked. The cornbread is finished. And we plated it up. So, let me get a taste. Oh my goodness. These are some of the best collards I have ever made. Let me taste the bread. Hear that crunch? That is one good plate of food. I wish that you guys would try this at home. I hope that you followed me while I was making it, that you have the recipe. Please try it. I really appreciate everybody for joining me today. I thank you so much. And I tell you what, this food is the bomb.